Hello and welcome to ROG DreamLeague Season 8, live from the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios, brought to you by ROG, by Aces, by Monster Energy, and as well as HyperX. That's right. And this is day 3 of league play we got going here. We got 2 series for you. It's a Vega doubleheader. We'll see them going up against Navi and against OG today. And with me here to talk you through all of the games, we have Sir Action Slacks,
Hello,
and Odie Pixel. What do you want to say?
Nothing. I thought we were going to have a moment to say hello. Hello.
You can have many moments.
All right. That was your moment. It was great. It was memorable as well, Fug.
Those are your 15 seconds. Never forget.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. How are you doing, Fug?
I'm waiting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't worry.
It's okay. Don't worry.
We'll wait.
It's fine.
You know that there's actually someone running back and forth now.
No, that's not true. Oh, see. Oh, wow. Hi. Oh, my hair's poofy today.
Poofy.
Poofy. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I'm ready to watch some of these games. I haven't gotten to see too much of Vega or Navi, even though they played like the most games out of most people. Haven't gotten a chance to watch a lot of those.
There are a lot of qualifiers for them.
Yeah. Get to see Crystallize play.
Yeah.
Pretty excited for that. Yeah. Everybody's been hyping him up.
There's a lot of pressure on him today, I feel. How are you doing, Odie?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Looking forward to another day of DreamLeague. We've got a last day of sort of the EU before we have a bit of a time zone shift tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're heading over to China. Well, China Games. We're not actually going to China.
Come on,
We're not?
Slacks is going over.
Gone, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, they're flying me over tonight. I'm
cool.
pretty pumped about it. We're going to green screen me in tomorrow. So
Sweet.
Take a look at that technology.
Hope they fly you business so you can get some sleep in.
Business.
Yeah.
Nah, he doesn't need business.
This is DreamLeague.
He's not even flying. They're taking him by boat. Put him on the old Stockholm Shanghai Express.
The Siberian Express, right?
Oh, there's a train.
It's like 14 days or something from here, I think.
Yeah, Jack was really talking it up one time.
He actually
He really wanted to.
Just go all the way to Stockholm.
It's no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
it's like 7
I think
days though,
Finland.
right?
I
From
thought
Finland.
Kiev was.
For Finland or Russia?
Maybe
Nah,
it
it's
was
Kiev.
it's
I'm pretty sure it's Kiev.
Was it
too.
Kiev?
Yeah.
He's Kiev.
I think it was Kiev.
It was the dead of winter, snowing like crazy. He's like, let's just take a train through the wilds of the Russias. Like, that sounds like a horrifically dumb idea.
It's extremely expensive as well, and he's like, yeah, I don't like flying. Those are war zones. I don't want to fly over those areas.
He doesn't. He did not want to fly.
This is Jack, by the way.
I'd rather speed through the ground of the war zones. Locomotive.
No, it avoids that stuff. You know, it goes the scenic route.
Yeah, trains are very well known for going off the track there, for sure.
He never did it though.
It's an experience. It is. I've
I
heard.
think he still. He still wants.
He still did. He still did want to last time I talked to him.
That
about
was a
it.
minimum effort joke. I'm not gonna acknowledge it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
You laughed. It worked.
I more like laughed at the sound effect.
What's the point of the sound effect?
Thank you. The sound effects are nice.
Yeah.
All right. So
on the docket.
yeah. So you are gonna be going to China tomorrow. We'll beep you in, and we'll talk to you the whole time.
Yeah.
You can keep us up to date with what the teams are doing and stuff.
Yeah.
How's your Chinese? You can say some Chinese, can't you?
What think they don't?
There we go.
That's the only thing you know now.
Nobody's here to check him. Nobody knows if it's actually so.
I'm sure Jack is like,
Some are shaking his head.
or sleeping while playing Pops. One or the other.
Probably the latter, if I were to choose.
He does that.
Shush.
Yes. Does also mean, by the way, in case you're wondering, tomorrow we have then also a very early day. So set your alarm clocks. We'll be live at 9:30. That's
Well, not early for everyone. In China, it's like the evening, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
What's
So
the time
for our
zone?
Chinese viewers.
Oh, for Chinese people, it's on 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
And what's the time zone here? What is it? Is it +1 GMT or what?
Here it is +1 GMT. It is CEST.
It's
guys wanna-
CEST. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys want to make some alarm clock noises for our friends? They could just record the sound, and then that will wake them up tomorrow.
That's
All
my
right,
alarm.
we
That's good.
gotta give them some time to get their
Yeah.
phones out to record
Okay,
it
so
or
good
whatever
That
you
was a
use to
good one.
record it.
That's my alarm. It's very annoying.
If
Go ahead.
anybody wants to have an alarm clock featuring the goons on my left, then get your recording devices.
I'm not. You do one.
Is this the red button?
No.
What's happening?
No, go ahead though.
soon.
Go ahead, Fong.
Me?
Do
I'm
your
starting
cool
it.
thing again.
Yeah.
Now use flags.
I ain't got none. I'm trying to remember the one because you always have those sounds from like your phone alarms that kind of they're just ingrained in your mind. So wherever you're at, if you're out in public, and someone says, "How's your alarm sound?"
As a ringtone.
It's like a ringtone.
Yeah.
It sort of sets you off. You know.
It really does.
That's mine.
It gets like
very.
I think that's why I started tilting in our pub games. My alarm went off, and I was just like,
I set my alarm clock one time to Legend of Zelda's shop theme.
"That's a bad idea."
It
What
was
is it?
really
How's
because
the
I love
shop
it.
theme
You know. And now every time I hear it, I get super upset because it like signifies that my life sucks and I have to get out of bed.
That was.
Boom, boom.
I thought that was the
Wow.
one where you go in the shop and you can play like the game.
No, that's
Ocarina.
different.
How's that one go?
I don't remember. It's really
Are you sure
annoying.
it's
Let's
not?
just make Jake do noises.
There's
This
a
is actually
super
great.
annoying song for that one, but the shop theme was real cool. But now I hate it.
Can you do the Song of Storms like that? This is amazing.
You ever heard Gerudo Valley?
No, do Gerudo.
Yeah? Sorry, we should move on. Then we have things to talk about.
So yesterday, what
Yeah.
happened? We watched some games, right?
We had 2 games.
Can you do
2
the
series.
song in the fairy fountain?
Okay, never mind.
Which one is that?
How does it?
Oh.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah. We should move on.
This
Did you
is
do Kakariko Village?
Oh, how go? I forgot.
I can't remember now.
Okay.
Oh,
Kakarito. I should know this one.
yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Can you do the Lost Woods?
the lost.
I can't handle this. This is too good.
The pretty part is that in the camera, it doesn't look like you're actually doing anything.
Yeah, well, it's a
making
bit
like
of
a
a
face.
ventriloquist thing.
You're just sitting there. Noise is just coming out.
Oh yeah, you remember? It's Kakariko Village. All the.
Oh yeah.
That's good. That's pretty good too. I'll give you that.
We need to move on,
Alright,
guys.
yesterday we had 2 series of Dota being played. We had actually a double header for OG, and they played against Empire first, and then they played against Virtus Pro. They were able to take home 3 points, and if you missed yesterday, here is a top 3 of yesterday's plays.
They see solo, but they want a bigger target, but they'll settle.
They'll sell. They certainly will. And more nice. Boy, did jump up higher, see if you could catch any more off the back of it. Heals down to Solo, buying him some time, but the Dream Course drop down. Solo will
They actually
finally
have to use
go.
Coil, though.
Indeed, they're ready to turn back in. No one comes in. Combos down flow. This is going to be a buyback from the Witch Doctor. Solo wants to fight with the rest of the boys. Jumping forward, Pasha gets the lasso onto Resolution. Jarex is down. No one with the double kill. Rezo trying to finish off Lil, but Lil gets himself up to the high ground. Reaper Scythe is there to finish off. Ramsey's on the Legion, but overall VP, they're the ones to clean up. Maledict toss onto Resolution. Triple kill for no one. Only 1k gold lead.
He should be able to, just because you see the mass Midas is coming up from OG, but top we have a fight going on.
Yeah, they are going to hold down FN a little bit with the Static Storm, but it doesn't look like it matters. They've already lost the Disruptor. FN still ready to fight, manages to nuke down a second. Rezo does get the stun, but FN gets the blink off.
Oh,
He's
they
out.
got the Doom on
Doom's dropped
Panda.
down. Yes, the S4 cannot offer anything to this fight. Or now they're hunting down No-Tail. He's got 1 familiar left to try and help him. Does get the 4-man stun, but it doesn't matter. They'll get the kill. Triple kill for FN. Empire team wipe OG. Thinking if they can chase this Ramsey, he's looking for Jarex. Jarex
The movement speed.
in a lot of trouble. He will get forced back once, pops the global heal, but he's been silenced. Fisher to the backside, and
And
Jarex
the
is
gem
down.
is down as well.
And he has to be careful. They have vision upon him. Oh, S4's just jumped into the midst of it. Oh, S4, what are you
S4
doing?
melts.
S4, he's gone. He's down for 100. Jarex and S4 will buy back.
And Rezo as well. If he dies here, it's game over.
Now, this is a fantastic fight for them. They get no tail as well. Triple kill for Ramses.
S4 as well gets echoed.
Oh, it's the second
He's dead
time
again.
he's down. S4 down for 2 minutes alongside Resolution. This is almost certainly going to be game. No tails gone as well.
Rampage.
Ramses with the rampage.
Double rampage.
Oh my goodness. Is this a triple rampage? Oh,
It is a triple rampage.
Oh, but maybe it's the triple. Ramses does it.
A very close series yesterday between OG and Virtus.pro as the last series of the day. And that series tied, and that also means that they are tied on top place in the standings. Let's take a look. They're tied! We have not got, well, we only have seen 4 teams so far, but we're going to add 2 to the board today. Navi and Vega Squadron are both having games. Actually, Vega has 2 series, one against Navi, so we'll see how those do at the end of the day. And Secret and Liquid, I believe we have to wait for them until after Hamburg.
Yes.
Before we see them play.
After Hamburg?
Empire's already in a rough spot, huh?
Yeah.
They have to win like all their games in order to be able to do it, right? That's what it looks like. They're 1-5 already.
Well, there's something else, obviously, when if the top 4 is all European, then they have to just be #1 of the CAS teams.
Oh.
So then they're still
So
going
they can actually still be okay as long as all the CIS teams bomb out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is how that
Good
works.
luck, Empire.
Yeah. It's an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah.
Navi has been doing really well lately.
Yes. They've been playing a lot of games.
They have qualified for Starlight.
Yep.
They have qualified for Bucharest. And after that, they they fell off a little bit, but they did have they had a period where it's like, wow, Navi is in shape. Navi's going to do it this season. So I'm really pretty hyped for that.
Yeah, they're Lich pickers. They pick Lich. They pick Necro.
I sense a little bit of resentment in your voice there as you said that.
Lich, Necro, Enchantress. They pick like these very obnoxious heroes, and they just, yeah, they're pretty good at doing that. But Crystallize has been stepping it up. Looking at a couple of his games, he's been putting the team a bit on his back, for sure. It's good to see the newcomer guy like kind of do that right. It's pretty important for the team.
Give a good first impression to people that don't know him yet. So.
I mean, you say Navi are Lich pickers, but Secret are the true Lich pickers. Puppy used to run the Lich with the Helm of the Dominator and then double up on Ice Armors. I mean, if there's a Lich picker team, it's Secret. Navi.
It's similar though. They pick like they both pick Lich, they both pick Chen, they both pick Enchantress. Actually, Secret not so much Enchantress, but kind of similar-ish in a way, I guess.
Interesting.
You know, of all the 8 teams that we have in Europe and CAS League play, there's only one team that does not have a coach.
Oh.
Who's that?
It's Mid or Feed. Or am I wrong? Did they have a coach now?
I actually don't know. I don't think that they do.
Sometimes teams have like coaches that.
But everybody else has a coach, which is very important because the new ruling is that coaches can now be part of the draft at LANs, at official tournaments, at minors and majors.
That's going to be interesting.
Because it's a double-edged sword, right? There's
no, it's not really.
How
It's
is
just
it a
good.
double-
no, it's definitely double-edged sword. So okay, so the drafting phase is like 10 minutes. According to some, it's way too long because they just want to see the game. But for the pros, it's very important.
The drafting's too long.
It's very for pros. It's very important. You have only limited amount of time where you have to get all your information out. No.
I like Dota, but the draft's too long.
No pros think that. People at home do think that.
No, Twitch chat doesn't. They love it.
They love the long
They love
time.
spamming the memes every hero.
Yeah, they're like, start the game!
They want the draft to be long. They
Start the game!
They got time to make their pizza rolls. They got time to pet their cat. They love it.
My point.
Start the game, Owen!
Yeah, what is
My point is that you already have 5 people talking about a draft with obviously the captain taking the lead there. If you add a 6th person there that has input, there's going to be even more, like, communication is key obviously, but it's going to be even more important than it already was, I feel.
But you can
that's a good thing. What's the bad thing? It's a double-edged sword.
No, I think it's the double-edged sword that some people, like, sometimes I feel like maybe coaches might be thinking that they have more input than they should, or maybe they talk too much that the captain doesn't have as much time to talk as they normally do.
It's just something tells the coach to screw off, and
no, it's just something that I feel like teams have to get used to still, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that develops.
Depends on the coach.
I can only see it as a positive.
It's only a positive.
Because they're going to say, if that's the situation they want, they'll be like, listen, coach, all we want to do is drafts.
Yeah.
We'll handle gameplay. We'll handle in-game. But that's amazing. Now the players can just hand off drafts to their coach and just worry about how they're going to play. And that's a huge part about having to play Dota. That's a lot of stress off, I would think.
I don't think it's just like handing off. It's that they can't watch every game. Like if they're in a tournament and there's like multiple games going on at the same time, and they're just like, what happened in group B, C, and D? And the coach comes up, all right, well, this are the new big heroes. I saw this. This looks crazy powerful. They can start incorporating that when they're not really ready
but
for
that
it.
already happened like at the moment, and then it just gets told before the game.
Sure, but then the coach isn't there to say, you know, because obviously the coach can sort of predict to an extent what the teams are going to be picking. But then when it changes, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of times where coaches of these teams are sort of sat obviously unable to communicate with the players. They're watching the draft and they're, you know, like you sort of hear it when you're sitting at LAN events with coaches and they'll be commenting and they'll be like, oh, I don't like that, or they're going to pick this, and then they do, you know, most of the time the coach knows what the player's going to pick.
Or it's like, I really hope they remember that I told them that this team places this ward in the same place every single time, and then they can remind them again in the draft. So,
it's a very stressless situation for the coach, because those guys are thinking about what they're going to do in the game and all that stuff, and all he has to think about are picks and bans. And Sunspan, when he was on DC, he watched literally every single game that they played and their opponents played. All he did was watch Dota. From like 12 hours a day, he just watched Dota. That's a huge resource. They can't do that. They got to play Dota. Yeah. They can't watch it.
Yeah, but that's already being done right now. Like I feel like
the players obviously watch a lot of Dota.
Yeah, but I mean, like there's already coaches that watch all the other games and give tips. There's already analysts that do that as well, and basically dissect every data, all the data out there. So adding the coach specifically to the drafting phase, I feel like could mess up the balance.
Maybe.
Nah, I think it's only. I think we're gonna get. I think Dota's just gonna be better now, because a lot of the times when you're casting or watching a game, you'll see like a mistake in the draft, and you do get out drafts. And I think, sure, coaches will still make mistakes like a captain would during a draft, but I think they'll be much less so, because 6 minds, they're going to miss some of the things that sometimes, you know, to a lot of the viewers seem obvious. You know, sometimes you have these drafts and by the end of it, you know, Twitch chat, they're already calling GG for someone because of, you know, some hero getting through. And those sort of situations I think are going to be a lot rarer when you've got actually a coach in there as well to just sort of have that second, you know, sort of train of thought. It's going to be good.
Did the rules ever say that the team's coach has to be in there? I thought they swapped coaches. What? That was a double-edged sword. What? So Na'Vi goes into Secret's booth and he's like, you kids are going to lose. My team's going to destroy you.
All right, so.
that sounds like what Captain drafts next. You can do it your LAN.
You guys can have coaches, but he goes into the other guy's booth.
But speaking of coaches.
Speaking of coaches, I am actually really interested to hear the thoughts of our guests on this very topic. So I'm going to let you guys get to casting, I was going to say, but get a little bit of a break before we see you back in the war room in a bit. We'll see you in a bit. Let's get in Blitz now, please. All right, Will, you are our guest of the week. We talked a little bit about coaches.
Yep, that's me.
You are the coach.
What do you want to know?
I want to know the new change, like with coaches inside the drafting booth. What's your thoughts?
Is it a double-edged sword?
How would it be a double-edged sword?
Okay. Rip her apart. Oh, get her.
Man, I feel. All right, let's hear the who. So who said it was a double-edged sword?
I think it can be a double-edged sword.
All right, come on, man. I've already had to deal with slacks. Let's hear it.
Well, the thing is I think that there's 10 minutes to talk about the draft.
Okay.
And communication is very important.
Yeah.
And you don't want your coach to take up too much time. If your captain basically has less time to talk about the draft now than he normally has. So I feel like it could be a double-edged sword.
All right. So my response is going to be like, I don't want it to be patronizing, but like, I'm going to tell you how it is from the 2 teams that I've been.
Yeah. No, I'm all ears. I'm completely okay with being absolutely wrong.
There are often 2 types of teams. There's going to be a team that's a dictatorship, and there's going to be a team that's like, they draft by committee. So oftentimes the dictatorship, it's going to go like, I'm going to draft this. This is what we're going to play.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you will ask for a suggestion from one of your cores, because you're going to pick your supports early on, and you're simply going to say like, what do you think is good here from like a core perspective? And then your core will say this, this, and this. And then the other side of it is, it's more of a, we do it by democracy. Like, what do you guys think is good? Both captains that I have worked with so far have done it in the former, where it's more of a, this is what we're going to play, this is what we should do. That's when both teams had more success. I think especially Kuro might have, he's really good, as well as Misery. They were both good at explaining why they were doing something. But for the most part, it's, this is what we're going to do, so let's go with this. The benefit of a coach in situations like that, and I'd imagine most teams are like this, because you want a captain that'll simply just say, here's what we're going to do.
This is the plan.
This is the plan, because part of it too is that your captain has the idea of how he wants the game to look. And if you just have random people saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, they don't have the full picture. They're just suggesting heroes. And so oftentimes as a captain, it's important for you to filter. And what happens then is you have a coach that can help filter that. Because I think what you're thinking of is it's a bunch of people talking about what they want to do, but it's often just one guy saying, I want to do this, this is what we're going to do, and then a coach can help say, okay guys, we need to go along with this. Because it does, as weird as it sounds, it does help having somebody empower you and having a second voice agree with the idea. Or just telling, you simply want somebody objective to be able to bounce the idea off of somebody. Because sometimes your core can be afraid to play something. He can say, I don't know if this is a good game for that, because he has some kind of prejudice or bias against the type of lineup. Okay. And then your coach can say, no, listen, this can be good, this can be bad, this can work, this can't work. And yeah, so in that regard, I think it's almost just a net positive as a whole. It won't affect some teams, like certain teams like Optic, for example, don't believe in having coaches, I believe. Like, I don't think PPDs finds it too necessary to own a coach.
No, I don't think they have a coach at the moment.
And so when you have a team like that, of course, you have Peter. He's an excellent drafter. You have Misery, who's this co-captain. They probably don't need somebody like that in there.
Because they already have it in the team.
Exactly. But when I watched True Sight, when I saw what art style, or not art style,
which team?
Was it art style? It was VP and...
Well, that was art style.
And OG, when they were doing it, that's invaluable because you realize it's not a lot of the other guys talking. It's primarily No Tail and Fly communicating. It's Fly calming everybody down, saying what he was going to do. And it's actually after the game, it's Mad that's saying like, we need to do this. This is good. I feel like this was a good idea. We simply just didn't do this quite as well. Like the execution was a little bit off. Yeah. Because you have somebody objectively looking at the game and telling you this is where you went wrong in the draft. Because sometimes it's hard to see stuff like that.
I disagree.
All right. Why do you... Let's hear it. You just do?
I just think you're wrong, bro.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm going to die, honestly.
Well, today, all the teams that we have playing do have a coach, but, well, it will be interesting to see that when the LAN season comes around to see how it will influence things, because I would imagine with all these online games, they already have a coach there.
Yeah.
If they want to.
I mean, it's really interesting because in the beginning of Dota, it just keeps evolving towards more of a traditional model. Because at first we have something that I remember, because I was always pretty closely involved with all the pro players. In the beginning, it was like, you don't need a team house to be successful. Yeah. That was like the common thing, like, oh, we're not China, we're not going to do team houses. And then team houses became a thing. And then it's like, well, we don't really need coaches. Like, who needs a coach? Like, I'm the best, like, we're all good players. Like, who do we really need as an objective third party? And then once EG shows, how good Bola is and how useful coaches are, then it becomes the meta. And you just need to consistently show there needs to be a team that'll first do it, another team finds success with it, and then it continues to move forward.
All right. No, I do.
Something wrong, Jake?
No, what?
Not an interesting conversation.
No, I love coaches, man.
Yeah, that's what you got from that. All right, let's go.
Okay. Well,
good times.
Let's see if he's more entertained by talking about Vega Squadron. And
Whoa, Vega! I like him.
What entertains you, man?
Sharks.
Sharks? All right, we'll talk
Hell
about sharks.
Yeah, here we go.
So we'll throw sharks instead of coaches. Each team will just have to like fight a shark. There'll just be like a shark tank that they get dumped into.
Hell yeah. At the beginning of the tournament, I thought that the mascot for the team should have to come out like live animals, and then they fight, and that's how you get to know who gets the draft order.
Oh, I actually instantly knew who would win then.
Well, between Vega and Na'Vi, I think they just send out Dendy.
Dude, Na'Vi is coached by Havos.
No, but like, not the coaches fight, but like their mascot.
Their mascot.
What is Na'Vi's mascot?
Dendy.
Dendy.
No, but like...
it's actually Dendy.
Like,
I think they just... It's black and yellow, so bees.
Yeah, okay, so it's bees against sharks.
The arena is just filled with thousands of bees.
You might remember that I was looking at weird news.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One of those weird news was that there is a lady somewhere in Asia that got stabbed 150 times, very sad actually, by massive wasps. And she died. So I think that massive wasps, giant wasps, they can kill a shark.
Okay. Would you rather have... Okay, so all the Bs that would fill up the name Na'Vi, okay? Let's say that's like, let's eyeball it. That's 100 Bs, okay?
In what situation is the shark gonna get stung? He would have to be jumping out of the water.
How is he gonna kill the wasp without leaving the water?
He can just jump out and then just like, he can do it faster, Shiver.
Well, no, but you know what? Let's say he eats all the wasps. The wasp will sting him on the inside, and he'll still choke because he'll maybe have an allergic reaction.
But what if he just drowns them? Like he just covers them in water. Then it ruins.
No, but he still has an allergic reaction. I don't think he can get all the wasps. Okay, so
you're not thinking about the strategy.
Oh, I am. Okay, so there's 100 wasps. Okay. Let's say in the first
we're not talking about wasps. We're talking about bees. It has to be.
Doesn't
bees.
matter.
Right.
There's 100 bees. In the first jump, the shark gets 50 of those bees. Great going, shark. You already killed 50, but those bees, before they died, they managed to sting the shark. Shark's allergic to the bee.
How do you know that the shark is allergic?
It's not allergic. It is a well-known fact.
Then if you're gonna make a bullshit scenario, he has an EpiPen. So he's gonna be okay. He's got like a shark EpiPen.
Too bad he doesn't have thumbs. Game over.
Oh my lord.
Welcome to DreamLeague.
I think the shark could beat 100 bees. Like it's 100 bees is like the size of my arm. It's not very many bees.
How are we gonna check this?
I just take my word for it.
Tomorrow on the red button for DreamLeague, we release 100 bees.
Wait a second.
Are you looking up
the shark? I'm sure someone has discussed this before. Versus bees. All right.
Thank you, by the way, Asus ZenPad. This is the best advertising.
11 animals more likely to kill you than sharks. One of them is bees.
Okay, can we talk about...
Hey, sharks versus bees, a scientific view. I'm going to scroll to the end and hope that there's a summary.
All right. While we're waiting for that, can I talk about how BS the statistics are? May I?
What do you mean?
Like that, stuff like that. 10 things more likely to kill. Did you know it's more likely that you get killed by a coconut than dying in an airplane?
Okay.
It's such bullshit.
Why?
It's such bullshit,
why?
Dude.
It's
what do you mean, why?
Chance.
Because it's like, okay, people are always like, there's more of a chance that you're going to get killed by a coconut than a shark. Okay, well, that's because I'm in a situation more in my life where there's more coconuts. If there's a street with enough coconuts and enough sharks, which one are you going to pick? The coconut street or the shark
So you
street?
just dislike pigeonholed stats?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay.
Stupid. You know what doesn't have pigeonholed stats? Dota 2. All of our stats are great and unique.
And they're provided by Knoxville for DreamLeague.
Great job. Don't pigeonhole us, Knoxville.
Well done.
I do not have a conclusion on bees, by the way. There's very large text, and it's a lot of text.
Okay.
Let's just stick to that. So back to Dota. It's Vega versus Na'Vi. Earlier on, we were already talking. Crystallize is a new player of Na'Vi, one of the star players, and I'm really curious to see how he will do here. How do we think he'll do here?
Wow.
What do we think of Crystallize?
He played on, was it like Double Dimension before this?
I think so.
Was the previous team that he was on. I think the biggest thing about Na'Vi is it's a little bit weird for them to attract new talent because there's not a lot of CIS players to pull from, right?
Yeah.
Rezo went to OG, obviously. All the CIS kings are on VP, and so their options are a little bit more limited. I don't think they were the biggest fan of like this experiment of having like half Europeans. Remember when they had Beaver and they had Pycat?
Pycat.
Not that there was anything wrong with them, but I just think it was an awkward situation for them. And so they wanted to go back a little bit more to their roots. They find guys, and you need these up-and-comers nowadays, like these unproven guys that can just show up and play, and I think so far it's been pretty successful. Like, you need a good mix now, veterans and new blood.
Yeah, so you got Dendy, General Seneko as veterans, Crystallize, and Roger. I consider Roger a little bit of the new blood as well, even though he's been around a little bit longer than Crystallize.
He's just, when I was in Europe for a while, like, he's just been climbing the pub charts for a really long time. He was like kind of known. I remember he was playing Nature's Prophet a lot during that era when I was running into him in Invoker and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, you know, he pops up onto the scene. He's playing very well overall.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the players that I just look to stand out for. I think 4 position players right now it's the most important that they've ever been in Dota, bar none.
Yeah, they really shape like all the team movements and how well in each part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Early game depends on 4, mid game depends on 4, late game maybe, but not a lot of games really go to late game anymore, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest thing is that nowadays your 4 position player, And I think it's really cool too because back in the past, support was always looked down upon. Back then, even 4 position, if you remember, like during Dota TI1 to TI3 era, before EGN came along and stuff and set that meta, it was this whole,
very
like,
passive.
if you're a support, you're just thought of as low skill, you're mechanically the weakest player, you don't take any farm, you just kind of press some buttons in team fights. And now it's like, one of your most mechanically skilled players has to play the 4 position. Like, whatever your 9K players, stick them on the 4 position.
Has to shine.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what those 4 position players will play today as we are in the draft. And we actually have a war room ready for you as well.
Just curious,